What is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Almighty Lewis, back at you with another video. What is up, my fellow introvert community, my introverts, my dudes and ladies? Hope y'all been doing well. It's been a while since I've uploaded on this channel, and just the other day I was just really thinking about how much time I've spent on this channel. Like when I had it up and running, right back in the office, back in St. Vincent Jewelry, when I was filming these videos at Kabartzi, I was sitting in front of my camera, in front of my phone. I actually had a different phone in that time. I had an iPhone SE. And I would just sit down on my desk before everybody came into the office, and I would just pretty much make these introvert personal development style videos just for the introverts out there. And you guys have no idea how much I really enjoyed that. Even though, in those times it was crazy times too, because the whole pandemic had hit, and you can see the whole development through the channel there. You can see how I started the channel, and then the pandemic hit, and then like I took a break because I didn't have access to the office. We actually couldn't access the building because of the whole pandemic stuff. As you guys may know, there was a lot of restrictions and stuff. But then like we did finally get access to the building again, and then we were able to actually film videos in there again, and it was great. It was a great experience. But besides that, I had previously made videos like these. I had other channels of personal development where they were great. They were awesome. I took inspiration from other YouTubers, I should say, that made videos out in the day, pretty much out in the city. They just basically set up a tripod, put their phones there or cameras, whatever. I'm not even sure what kind of equipment they were using, but they pretty much just set up outside anywhere in the city, in the park, by the beach, or anywhere where there was like a nice scenery in the back, and then just pretty much just do their setup there, set up a mic, and then just stand in front of that nice background and just start, sharing something about life. And that was very exciting. That was very good. Definitely helped me a lot in my growth. And so I wanted to kind of do something similar to give back, but I wanted to do it, of course, specifically aimed for introverts, because I feel like the information definitely had to be tailored a little bit differently, said a little bit differently, in order for us fellow introverts, for us to understand it a little bit better. Because that's something that I kind of figured along the way, that yes, there's a lot of advice out there, but in order for you to take advantage of that advice and really put it into action, you really need to understand it at a core level where it actually hits you, right? It actually makes sense to you. And the way it's put out there, not much of the advice is really tailored to introverts. So, I thought I'd do something different with this channel. And to see the growth that it came to, I'm pretty amazed, to be honest, because I never thought it would hit 100 subscribers. Right now, this channel currently, right now at this time that I'm, looking at the subscriber count, it was like 100 and something. And that's crazy, because while I was still recording these videos on a consistent basis back in Kabartzi, I was always like, damn, I'm gonna hit 100 subscribers. And like I was really looking forward to that. And unfortunately, I actually stopped making these videos before I even hit 100 subscribers, because I had quit working at Kabartzi because I just felt like it wasn't a good fit anymore. But I never hit the 100 subscriber mark. And I did try to make more videos after that. As you can see in the channel, I did try to kind of keep it alive. And I tried to record here and there wherever I could. But for some reason, it just never happened. Like, I tried here and there. I remember I was with my ex-girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend. I mean, she was my girlfriend at the time. I was with her in a hotel, and we were taking care of business there. But it took a little break, and I decided to record like 3 videos. You can see them here. They're still on the channel. You could tell like it's a nice dark kind of scenery. That's because it was filmed inside of a hotel room. And I tried to do some videos there. I tried to revive it. I was trying to like see how I could, move forward, and see if I can like change the strategy as far as like how I delivered the content here for this channel. And yeah, I had some ideas. I remember I did some branding too. So as you can see, I came up with the new logo. and like I try to like change up the place and everything, change up the vibe and everything. But unfortunately, those were pretty tough times actually, because I had quit that job, and plus I didn't really know what to do with my life. Like it's one thing where you're like you're lost because you just don't know, you just don't have the necessary skills, you don't have the necessary the know-how, the intelligence in order to move forward. But it's another thing when you have a little bit too much of it, to where like you have so many options that you just don't know where to pick, you don't know what to pick, you don't know what to commit to. And having commitment issues too can be kind of a problem, which I saw that kind of manifest itself really, really in a negative way with my now ex-girlfriend, because I just couldn't commit. I couldn't commit to her, and unfortunately ended up in a breakup a couple times, to be honest, because I did try to kind of amend it. I tried to fix it, and for some reason it just never worked out. And really, to the core of it, when I think about it, I really think that it's because I had commitment issues and I just couldn't commit. I couldn't just tell myself like, hey, like you gotta stick to your girl. You gotta do what you gotta do, and like you gotta make it work through the ups and downs. I just didn't have what it took at the time, and yes, that makes more sense to me right now. But unfortunately, I feel like a lot of things had gone wrong already with that relationship. So at this point, it's a little bit too late to kind of fix all that, because like there's just too much that I did that shouldn't have been done because of the commitment issues. And so now, yeah. But anyway, back to the topic, right? So I did try to kind of get this channel to move forward. I did try to do other things with it, but unfortunately it just never happened. And so I made a few videos here and there, kind of giving you guys updates as far as like what I was doing with my life. I told you guys about me pursuing like like things in the food industry. That's what I ended up kind of committing to. I said I was going to be like a food blogger, and I was going to help out restaurants, kind of work with their social medias and stuff like that. Something similar to what I was doing with Kabartsi, but now doing it with restaurants and doing it on my own too. So that's my own business, which was a whole challenge in of itself, because I had never actually been a business owner. I had never really led a team or worked with other individuals where I had to kind of tell them what to do. And I never had to really worry about me going out there having to pursue clients and having to speak to a lot of people, because I'm an introvert, so being an introvert really is something that it doesn't come easy, to have conversations here and there, do the whole networking, doing sales and all this stuff. So there's a lot of places where I really had to push myself, especially as an introvert, because like I said, it's tough. It really is. It's tough to be able to go out there, communicate every single day, and knowing that these conversations are crucial. They're really crucial conversations at the end of the day, because like if some of these places I had to close, I had to make the deal happen, because if I didn't, then I don't know what I was gonna do, because this was my only line of work. Like either this had to work, or else I was gonna have to find a job somewhere, which in turn I was still gonna have to do some communication, because I was going to have to communicate pretty clearly as far as like what my abilities were, what my skill sets were. I had to communicate that properly. And also they had to kind of not just see that I had the skill set, obviously, and the training, but also see that I'm a good person, that I'm a person that can provide value, and that I have things like customer service. I'm able to, understand people, and I'm able to basically, work. And yeah, and so there's just a lot of communication that has to happen. And so because of that, I want to say that it was kind of a journey, it was kind of a challenge, and this is why I didn't really have time to really look into this channel, because I was really working on just making that business work. And I think I've said this before, but just for whoever didn't watch the previous videos or anything. But yeah, it was just a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of it was very overwhelming, and a lot of things happened. I mean, I ended up really like isolating myself, because I really didn't have any time to have any friends or make any connections. Like I said, my relationship suffered with my ex-girlfriend, and amongst other things. I mean, I lost a couple of friends along the way. Not that it affected me too much, I would say, because like I said, at the end of the day, I am an introvert, and for most introverts, you kind of get used to that lonely life where you're just like, you know what, you just tell yourself that you're not going to have many connections, you're not going to have that many friends, you're not going to socialize as much in your life because at the end of the day, you're an introvert, and communication isn't going to be your strongest suit every time you're out there. And me, personally, I've been out there in so many scenarios, and now at this point, I'm even like filming at events and socializing and all that stuff. And it has, I have improved, I would say, and I do know how to pretty much like function and really operate in those kind of venues and stuff. But it did take a lot of work, and it did take a lot of like figuring out and being able to do this as an introvert. And so there is a lot of lessons, a lot of things that I learned along the way, and yeah, but basically it was all just to basically make it, and be able to do what I do currently right now. And that's the one thing I want to kind of leave you guys with here, is that sometimes, you just got to find that one thing that you really love. You got to find that one thing that really pushes you forward in order to kind of break out of this not really break out of not, stop being an introvert, obviously, because being an introvert is amazing. As I've shown you in these videos and the previous videos, you can watch them all. You can see how much strength and how many advantages you have as an introvert. And so definitely you want to take advantage of those. But at the same time, you got to realize that you do have to kind of step out of being an introvert here and there and kind of learn from the extrovert as well, and not really, because I feel like before I even when I was making those videos back in Kabartsi, I kind of did frame this as like, you gotta be like an introvert versus the extroverts, and like the extroverts are like the competition, they're the enemy or something like that. But in reality, they really aren't. They're just wired differently, and obviously they have their social skills and communication skills come more natural than they do to us introverts. But that doesn't mean that they're bad people, or that we should hate them for that, but we should really learn from them and learn how they're able to do that. And so there are processes, there are obviously systems and strategies in order for you to not, I wouldn't say communicate at their level, because like I said, their level is more on the natural side, but really be able to at least have a competitive edge where you understand the strategies, you understand what's happening in those conversations, and how you can actually at least strategize and be able to implement some of those systems and strategies of communication in order to get what you want out of life. Whether it's getting yourself a job, or you're starting a business, you need to close deals, you need to get people to work for you. You need people in a networking event to like you and to be all around you and be able to ask questions, be able to get responses and stuff like that, be able to get yourself a significant other, right? Whatever the case may be, a lot of these scenarios really require communication, and so you can't really just go on in life without that. So you kind of have to do it at some point, but it is a very hard really path to pursue. But that's why I've been telling you that you should find something that's worth embarking into that journey for. So whether it's you want to quit your job, you want to start a business, or maybe there's that one girl that you really like, or maybe you're a girl, there's that one guy that you really like and you want to impress him, or as a guy you want to impress that girl, well, then you're gonna have to do some communication, some form of communication. So really learning a lot of the things that extroverts do, and learning how to really hone in your introverted skills as well, can really put you out there. Whereas you seem like the cool introvert, right? Like the introvert that's out there, and really you'll be able to bring to life skill sets that normally wouldn't be displayed in extroverts, which is kind of cool. You're able to become a better listener. Your memory is a lot more tighter, and everything anything, you know, like you're able to show off abilities that most extroverts just wouldn't, because most extroverts, their ability is mostly just yapping and being able to talk and talk and talk for hours and run out of things to say, which is something that you could also learn as well. It's something that I'm doing currently right now. So I'm making these videos. I also have a podcast now where I speak for an entire hour and I have nothing really written down. Sometimes I do write some stuff down, but for the most part, it's all things that I just come up with, you know, on the spot. I mean, of course, most of it is all experiences. So I've lived through it. So one of the strategies really to not run out of things to say is to really have a lot of stories, have a lot of experiences. So, you know, as an introvert, you can just go out there and do things. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be with someone else. Just go out and do them on your own, experiment, do stuff, put yourself out there, and you don't have to do it like at an extreme level. Obviously, if as an introvert, you know, it's not really natural to be doing that, but just do it in a good sense where you at least get your feet wet, you know, and you understand, you know what it's like to be in that situation, in that venue. And so usually the first time is the hardest part, and then sometimes you do end up liking these things, and then you start to figure that, hey, you know what, I like it, it is tough, but you know, you do something that you love and you're willing to kind of work your way through, and like that's really how every journey begins here. So yeah, so there's all that. And now to kind of let you guys know how we're gonna move forward with this channel, because you know, I've been thinking about it and I've been kind of thinking about making this video, but I just didn't know how to really do it. So right now it's just kind of like, you know what, let me just make the video and just make it happen. And like, I'm just gonna speak from the heart and really just say what I need to say. But yeah, so pretty much I am gonna conclude this YouTube channel. Like it is going to come to an end. I have been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about ways where I can, you know, obviously keep it alive. I can make more videos. I can do this. I can do that, right? And there's many possibilities. There's many things I can do. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of personal development content that I still have yet to release. Because I've learned so much over the past, let's say, ever since I stopped making videos for this channel, which might have been like 2-3 years already, maybe more. That have been that I stopped uploading here like on a consistent basis, personal development videos. Most of the videos that I was uploading, they were mostly just updates. They weren't really like actual like personal development videos where you can take something from them. And so I've been giving it some thought. I've been like, hey, you know what? Maybe I can sit somewhere here. Like right now, I'm actually in a little cubicle here in a micro room, they call it here. It's like a co-working office here in Pasadena, actually. And pretty much I come here and I do a lot of my work here, where I like, you know, I edit stuff, I record the podcast here as well. And so yeah, a lot of stuff happens here. And so I thought like, hey, you know what, maybe I could just come here, you know, maybe once a week or something, you know, and record videos here on this channel. But like the thing is that I want to give you guys a good experience, you know, especially for this channel, because this channel, when I was, you know, running it, when I was uploading on a consistent basis, like this was a priority. You know, like I did have the podcast, the other podcast, you guys might remember the one with Varush and Kabartsi over there, Develop Your Mindset podcast, where like I said, I really feel like I could have delivered a whole lot better stuff over there. But since most of it was kind of like, I really didn't want to, you know, like I didn't have the work ethic. I didn't really have like the same mindset really as my boss over there at the time, Varush. You know, he was a business owner. I didn't really understand what it was like to do that. Now that I'm a business owner myself, now I understand what it's like, that having to have that hustle and be able to, you know, work on Saturdays. Because back in the day, I didn't want to be working on Saturdays. I didn't want to have to go to the office and having to record a podcast on Saturday, you know. Plus, I had to spend the whole day there. I had to spend the day like kind of like preparing for the podcast, and the podcast would start a little bit late, and then like it would carry on to the night, because then they would have a second session where they had this Armenian-based podcast podcast too, where it was like my boss, and it was his brother, and it was another friend, and it was just crazy, right? And I had to stay there because I was the only one who understood how to kind of operate the whole system there, as far as like how to record the podcast and everything and get it uploaded on YouTube. And so it was crazy. It was something that I really disliked. Even though I got paid for it and I got paid really good for it, I just didn't like it. And so every time it came time to do that podcast, I was kind of like, I was dreading it. I wasn't very happy about it. I was kind of just like, here we go again, another podcast, another episode. I got to kind of go up here, share stuff, just whatever, So I just kind of treated it as whatever. And I'm pretty sure there was a few good moments there where I did feel inspired. I was like, there was a couple of ups there where, I would go into the podcast. I was having a good week or something, so I was pretty happy, to go on there. I was like, but that was like a few times, it wasn't like always, like I'm ready, to really jump on this podcast now. But I really wish, like right now, if I had to, go back, make an episode over there, which I definitely would, if they revived it. Obviously, the podcast is not in my control. That was my boss at the time. And if he ever were to revive it, if he ever were to actually start making episodes, either by himself or he had a new co-host right there, I will definitely be a fan. I will definitely watch it. And if I ever got invited back there as a guest, like I did say in the last episode, when I was there, I would definitely do it. I would definitely be up for it. I would definitely love to like share everything I've learned throughout these years, and then just be able to really do it in a way where I'm excited and in a way where I really respect the audience that's watching that podcast and be able to give it my best, really my best content. And so, yeah, I'm not sure that's gonna happen though. I do see Varush here and there. I do see Rita and most of the people that I used to work over there with. So shout out to them if you guys are watching this video. I'm not sure if you guys still follow me and follow my YouTube channel, but if you guys do and you guys are watching this video, well, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the podcast as well. And if you guys are considering restarting that podcast, I would be more than likely to rejoin and be able to be part of it again. Even be part of it again, like as far as like filming it and like really, like partaking in it and everything. Like I would really, be able to, I could definitely make some time on Saturdays and be able to do that again. But like I said, not sure if that's something that's really in their priority right now. Maybe like I haven't been in that company for a while now, for a few years, so I'm not sure where they stand right now. They probably have other priorities. They want to do some other stuff, so that's probably not something there. But yeah, I mean, for those of you in this channel, if you guys haven't checked that out, you guys can. I'll leave a link below so you guys can check out the podcast if you guys have never seen or you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe all you guys saw was my channel here. And so yeah, another thing I want to say is like the books, like the books that I wrote. I'm very happy to see that those audiobooks are actually gaining a lot of views, especially the last one that I wrote, which was the one from loneliness to social competence. That was probably like one of my strongest books, and the one of them that was the most controversial, because I kind of put conversation and really making communication in a more strategic way, rather than making it something that's more like natural as it would be for like extroverts. And I think most extroverts will probably not be so happy with it, which is what I kind of thought. And based on the comments that I've seen, it looks like it's mostly extroverts who are like, hey, like, why are you strategizing? Communication should be natural, it should flow, it should be something that's done like out of like, just do something just to vibe with other people, get to know them and stuff. And yes, I think from an extrovert perspective, that is something that could be very possible. And as an introvert, you can also experience that. But at the same time, for an introvert, you do need strategy. You do need step by step, because as introverts, you don't understand what it's like to have that be natural to you. So if you at least understand the core principles of communication, you understand like how you're supposed to talk to someone that you're trying to befriend, how you talk to someone that you're trying to ask out, how do you talk to an instructor that you want the instructor to respect you, you want to show the instructor that you respect them because they're elders, you respect them because they have more value, as far as like more value, more life experience to offer. Like how do you do that in order to possibly extract some really good information that could help you out in order to kind of advance and move forward in your life. So, there's strategies and there's ways to do things. It doesn't mean that it's like manipulative, which a lot of people in the comments thought it was, but it's just, you just have to learn it because there's just no other way. Like, what are you going to do? You're just going to like sit there and wait until you become a natural at speaking or something? Like, it's like you just cannot afford to do that, especially in this world where basically like everybody who communicates is getting everything. And then, I've been that person that just stayed quiet, and because like I was always waiting to, for things to just come natural to me, like I always waited and waited. At the end of the day, it just never happened, and so I missed out on a lot of opportunities. I missed out on a lot of things that I really wish I would have had in life. And these are business opportunities. These are opportunities to make friends with people. These are opportunities to bond with friends that I used to have. Obviously, I missed out on a lot because I decided not to go with them to a certain place, like where we could have bonded, we could have grown more together, and that's one thing about people, you really gotta spend time with them, have experiences. And I was kind of scared and shy to do that because, like spending a lot of time with someone, eventually, you gotta start talking to them. You're just gonna hang out with people and just be silent the whole time, right? And so that was kind of scary, and I was like I didn't want to do it, so I would refuse to do it. And so in the end, like I just ended up not doing it. And so because of that, people will eventually grow out. If you're not spending enough time with them, they'll go with someone who does. And so stuff like that happens. I missed out on a lot of potential partners that I could have had, a lot of girls. That was probably like the strongest and the biggest losses, I would say, were really in that department, because trust me, there was a lot of girls that I feel like I could have gone out with if I just had put in some effort in like talking to them, asking them out, just going on simple walks with them, or just, asking them out, or going on a date, doing something simple, just, grabbing dinner, going to a coffee spot, doing some sort of activity. It could have gotten me somewhere, at least increased my chances by a lot. But unfortunately, because I was shy, I didn't know what to say. I was bad at communication. I didn't know how to ask them out. And if I did ask them out, then I didn't really know what to do once I did. And so eventually everything crumbled, and it crumbled many, many times. And so eventually, like I learned that, hey, you know what? I can't continue like this. You either you either give up and you just stop pursuing everything, or, and then you just kind of just wait for things to just fall upon you, which in that sense, you basically just settle. You settle for whatever you can get, or, you do the next thing, which is like to really commit and tell yourself that, hey, I'm going to learn what it takes in order to become a better communicator and be able to pursue the things that I actually want to pursue, and not just settle, not just settle for the things that come to me and that are easy, but really pursue the things that I am passionate about and that I do want to get in life, pursue the perfect job, or the business venture that you have, the idea that you have, pursue that love interest that you actually want to have, and not just settle for a partner that's easy, a partner that just talks to you and that's already willing to go out with you. I know for personally, the first and only girlfriend that I ever had, it was kind of that way, where it was kind of like she was just there. It was kind of an easy type of a deal there. She kind of liked me already. So there wasn't really much for me to do. There was a lot of initiative on her part. So I pretty much just, as introverts, once you really grow comfortable with someone, it's a lot easier now to kind of communicate with them. So that's kind of what ended up happening. And yeah, and it was great. But like, eventually, it kind of catches up, and like, you kind of figure that, hey, like, maybe I shouldn't have settled. Maybe I should have, even if, you decide to go out with her, I should have been more sincere. And I did break up with her. The first time I did break up with her, it was probably the most like honest breakup, and it should have stayed that way, really, because really after we got back, it just wasn't the same anymore. It was kind of like I was kind of just, really filling in that void, because like, once you lose someone, you get used to her, and all of a sudden she's not there. You can't do the same activities anymore with that certain individual. And so you kind of start missing that, and eventually you kind of just want it back, and you just kind of want it there. And like, the thing is, it wasn't the same, because at first, there was some interest. There was desire from my part to keep it going, so I was putting a lot of effort, but because I was excited, I like how things were going, and so I took a lot of initiative in a lot of things. But then, like, eventually you kind of grow bored out of it, because you're like, I kind of really like, it was cool, but it's time to kind of part ways. And like, the thing is that when you get back together, it's not really about like, like, oh, I'm ready to kind of continue this journey, do a sequel, do a part two. It's more like, like, I just want to reap the benefits of, being with you. And like, like, I saw that there was some value added to my life when you were there. So I just kind of want that value back. And that's really it, like, the thing is that you stop putting a lot of the effort now, because you kind of just want that person to be there in order to provide what they're supposed to provide. So they're kind of just there, filling in a position, filling in a role, really like kind of like if it was still like a business transaction almost, right? You're running a business, you have that one person that, is doing a certain thing for your business. When all of a sudden they leave, and now there's like a void in that, because, that position needs to be filled. And so you kind of just bring that person back in order to fill in that void again and make things run smooth again. But it's mostly just for your own sake. It's not really like, oh, like, I'm excited really to fucking have you. I'm really excited to this and that. And so yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't even know if she's watching. I don't even know if she's following. I remember last time you kind of spoke, I believe she did subscribe to this channel. I don't even know if she subscribed. But she might not. I don't know. But if you're watching this, we've spoken. But yeah. So what's the future of the channel, right? Let me actually get to that now. I've been talking, like, but yeah. So here's the thing. Like I said, I did have many ideas as far as like how to keep this channel going, but I just don't see it happening. I just don't see myself committing to it. I just don't see myself having the time, because I do have that other podcast too, and I have like the whole business side of things, and then that's my main priority right now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That's the one thing that I'm really looking forward to every day. That's what I do full time. And so for me to integrate something else like this, doing personal development videos and stuff, while I may enjoy it and I think it's very, very fun, I can't promise you guys that I'm going to be committing, I'm going to be uploading consistently anymore. As much as I like personal development, as much as I really like I value it, and it really means a lot to me, because I use it so much, to improve my life. So so there's that. So I will no longer be uploading consistent videos here. And that's kind of what I want to leave you guys with. It's saddening, yes, because I know how many times I've really tried to make a personal development channel. And yeah, I've really done a lot. It's been years, and I wish I can show you. I still have some clips of when I used to do personal development, actually. Back in the day. I'll drop some clips right here. So there you go. You guys saw the clips there. And it was fun. It was really fun. And yeah, but at the same time, I just don't know if I'm going to have the time anymore. So I don't want to come here and tell you guys, there's great things coming and all that stuff, because no. But I do have a surprise for you. There is still one thing that I never got to do, and I did hint at it while I was making those videos back in Cobartsi. And I did want to do this while I was there too. But I never got the chance because I was just so distracted, making videos here, making videos there, right? But there was one thing. There was one thing that I really wanted to do, and that was drop a personal development course, an actual digital course, really providing my best, the best of the best personal development content for introverts that you'll ever find on the internet. So here's the thing. This video will not be the last video that I put on this channel. The last set of videos that will be the last ones will be that personal development course. So I will be shooting that. It's currently not made yet, but I do have a good idea. And I have been planning them. I have been planning it. I have been thinking about it. And I do want to do it. I want to give you guys that gift. To all the hundreds of subscribers that I have here, I want to leave you guys with an amazing personal development course for introverts. That way you guys are getting the best of the best and nothing less. So I will be putting that personal development course together in the next couple of weeks. It should be ready, I want to say like in a month or so. Just because I have to record it, I have to put it all into, I have to kind of structure everything. I have to record everything, and then I have to edit everything, and then I have to put everything on YouTube and everything. And so it's going to take me a while, but eventually it will be there. And yeah, so other than that, I look forward to really putting that course together. And with that course, I really hope to help as many introverts as possible. So any introvert out there that's struggling right now, you're probably sitting somewhere watching this video, probably like, what should I do, right? You're lonely. You don't have many friends because nobody really talks to you. A little quiet guy in the back of the class. If you're a guy, you probably have a girl. Probably have a couple girls that you want to talk to. And you're really thinking about so many scenarios, so many ways that you can talk to them, but at the end of the day, you know that none of them is actually going to happen. And the one you least think of is actually the one that's going to happen. And yeah, maybe you want to leave your job. You hate it. Hate the people that you work with. They're probably yappers or something. You're like, God damn, these people talk so much. Like, I wish I could just work somewhere where everyone's quiet or something, right? Or maybe you don't. Maybe you want to find a way to actually be just as good as they are, at yapping and being able to communicate, but you just don't know how to. So you feel left out. You feel like incompetent. And so whatever the case may be, whatever your pain is, I really hope that with this course, I can really help you with that. I can really help you at least develop the communication skills that are necessary in order for you to really bring that to life and being able to be competent in the areas that you currently are not right now. And not just communication, but really be able to hone your introvert skills and be able to do something really powerful with those as well. Because yes, I know like I've been talking about like communication, all this stuff, but at the end of the day, like I said, you'll never really be a natural, and this will only be like a skill set. It'll be something that you can work on and that you can get better at, but it's just not in your nature. So eventually you will want to do something that's more on the introverted side and that's more aligned to you. And at the end of the day, that's really what you want. You want to do something that's more aligned with your personality, more aligned with who you are at the core. as a person, because that's really where you belong. That's really where you're going to thrive and really make the massive impact. But in order for you to get there, you do have to, do some uncomfortable things. And sometimes you do at least have to be competitive enough to, get through these hoops of talking to people and going from one person to the other and doing all these things in order to get to the place they actually want to arrive to, where you have choices, where you can choose if you want to go the route of becoming a celebrity, becoming someone who, everyone talks to, or you can choose to just go the other route and do something that's more chill, something that's more behind the scenes, something more aligned with being an introvert. But at the end of the day, you'll have that choice. So that's what I'm here for. That's what that course is going to be there for. And I really look forward to putting that out there, because I myself have a lot of things to share, and hopefully that course is going to help you guys. And so really excited about that. My voice is dying. I don't know why. But yeah, that was a long video. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody for watching this video. Thank you guys to everybody who's, been part of the journey. Thank you to everybody who's been watching these videos from the very, very beginning. And yeah, thank you to just everybody who's watched the content, who's left comments. If any of you have been impacted by some of the content that I've put out here on YouTube, make sure you leave it down below. Let me know. And other than that, I hope to see you in the course. And yeah, take care. Have a good one. And until next time.